meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge of the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement that the meeting is being recorded. Nomination. We'll open the nomination. Do I have a nomination for chair?
I would nominate Commissioner Clayton as chair.
Nomination, do we have a second?
I will second it.
Second, any other nominations from the floor? Do we have a motion that the nomination for chair be closed?
So moved.
A motion,
A second.
second. I guess we still have to vote.
Call the question and then move on to vice chair.
Yes, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vice chair. I have a nomination for vice chair.
I would nominate Sheriff Niswonger.
I will second that. Any further nominations for vice chair? Do I have a motion that nomination for vice chair be closed?
So moved.
A motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of Sheriff Niswonger for vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, special presentations. Approval of the minutes from December 19th, 2003. I think everybody's got a copy. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
My motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Finance report.
Everything in the jail is on budget, and after the first 2 months of the year. Of course, the highest expenses are wages, food, and medical services.
Motion to accept the fiscal report.
All motion.
A motion, do I have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Old business. Do we have any old business?
Do we need to talk about the lots? Are they done?
I can do that during the old business, or I can do an update whenever this you want me to.
On the
I do have an
department's report?
Yeah, I do have an update on this.
Rusty, did that inmate ever get transferred? I know you said he was on the list to be transferred. The one that possibly could have a foot amputation?
Yeah.
He did, okay. Thanks for keeping us in the loop.
Yep.
New business. Do we have any new business?
I was going to bring that up in my report.
Okay.
Seeing no new business? Warden's report.
Everybody received a copy, I believe, of the overall report of the jail for the past 2 months with our statistics. I can say that starting off the first year, we had a lot of projects that we were been trying to accomplish, and I think we're moving in the right direction on a lot of them. You can notice though on one thing, a change on the report. Our community service has been down for the last 2 months. For obvious reasons, a lot of our community service happens outdoors. So a lot of those projects shut down for the winter, and inmates can't go out. They aren't going to the cemetery and doing, maintenance and whatnot. So that we're expecting that to pick up with the nicer weather happening.
You also have them out, taking the national long roadways too. for
No, that's-
a different group.
That's part of probation for
For probation?
the,
The DUI program.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But ours, the inmates will help with like river cleanup or different projects like that, as long as it's nonprofit. Training, had a couple of the mandatory trainings that are recommended by the state, or mandatory by the state. You can see our overtime hours for the last 2 months. That's pretty average of where they usually are. I can tell you that our next report, our next prison board meeting for this month will be showing higher due to having inmates at the hospital and having covered several of those. So with any questions on the report that I sent out?
You're an inmate in the hospital right now, right?
We actually have 2 over there right now for unrelated incidents.
And you have one guard per,
No, the one is a higher risk inmate, so it takes 2 staff members to sit there, and the other one is a single, one-on-one. So we have 3 officers over there, and that's really taking a toll on our staff. Minimum shift requirement of 5, so we pretty much have overtime every day. We have part-timers that are available, they're working, and they're working as much as we can let them work. So we're working hard to get through it, as they do.
How long is the stay at the hospital, do you know? Do they have an anticipation on that?
Yes, but I don't want to give a date out
Oh.
for security reasons. One is unknown, the other one I do know.
Okay. I don't know if your hours are gonna extend, you know, long forever, so
Yeah,
We can discuss more in executive session.
Yes.
that's good sign,
Yeah.
not just.
Yes, sure.
any other questions on that report? I got some other things I'd like to hit on. Contractors have reached out to us, the ones that are handling the security fencing of the roof of the yard, and other security measures there. They've been in contact with the sheriff's office to get their IDs so they can enter and exit the courthouse and get their clearances, and we should be starting that very soon. I would say probably within the next 2 weeks from the last I knew. And it hopefully goes without a hitch. It sounds like they have a pretty good system in place for their jobs they do. I mean, they have a contract with the marshals and they do all the federal places, so they know exactly what to do. Hitting on a little bit old business, the control room door locks. If you're familiar with the control room at all, there's the old system, the big red buttons that used to hit the unlock all the main doors for people to walk through. We've been working for quite a long time to get those updated, and all the wiring that was behind the control panel. It's been a mess for a lot of years, and this company's going to come in and they're actually just emailed me back today. I had to cross off some of my notes. They emailed me back today. They struggled with getting the computer chips in for the touch screens to do the panels. They got those in. Now they're working with Bill and myself, more so Bill on the technical side of how things are going to look and work than myself. But hopefully that project's starting very soon. His last email was he's going to be reaching out to me with a date that they would be available to do that. So we're excited about that, to get that accomplished. Something that and that's covered by a grant also from last year. Another grant, we were in the CJAB meeting and PCCD had a grant it was part of a COVID coverage. There are kiosks that go at the entrances of your facility. And I spoke with the gentleman today. We can program them to any way we would like. So how they're going to look for us is there's going to be one in the main entrance out front and one by booking door. Anybody comes in, how it looks, anybody comes in now, they have to enter through the lobby. When they come in, their credentials are checked, their IDs are checked, and they have to sign in with all the information. That's Title 37. We have to have that done. So it's all pen and paper right now. This is going to throw us into technology.
digitally.
Yep. When the individual comes, we'll say he or she comes to the front lobby. It'll actually take a picture of them, check their temperature. They have to enter their name and their reason for being there. There'll be 2 selections, either inmate or administrative. They hit it and just type in, whether legal for attorney or sales rep or whatnot. It'll document them coming in, document them coming out. And everything will be at the especially our fingers of looking up history of who was there and when, you know, rather than going through stacks and stacks of papers. And we can have it in the back also, so we can do intake in. Everything's covered with that, so we're pretty excited about that too.
You're saying check in and check out. Check in part's pretty much understandable how that would work. But checking out, do they have to physically go over and do something at the computer unit? How they leave, or?
There's several different ways to do it, and he was talking to me about how we can do it. We can either have a barcode scan, so when somebody leaves, the sergeant's working, they can scan, it assigns that person out, or they could actually go over and manually type it in and they leave. He said there's several options, so like our staff members are probably going to end up with barcodes. Like, you can put delegates in there that come in every week. Instead of them taking all the time typing in, they would have a barcode. They come in and takes their picture, and they just scan and they're in.
So somebody can't leave unnoticed?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's still going to be the same as before. They can't leave without control room opening the door and letting them out and verifying. It's just a better way to document it than what we have.
Nice.
One
When is
update.
that happening? I'm sorry.
We don't have a date on that yet. I just had a Zoom call with him today, and he's getting together with Bill to talk about, because he needs access to Wi-Fi, but it's not going to be on our system. IT knows way more about that stuff than I do. I just know that it works. I don't know how it works, so.
Can I make a comment about that, Steve?
Yep.
This is being funded through COVID funding that is through DCED that they offered for specific to the jail. And so I just wanted you to know that this is being funded as a really important project from the Commonwealth.
Is there other money left in that pot, Lisa, that we're concerned about using within a certain period of time?
No, we only requested what we needed for this
Okay.
project.
Okay.
Yeah, during the CJAB meeting, they brought up many ideas, and they threw this product out there, and I saw it more of accountability wise, so, you know,
Good thing.
yeah, it really helps
You
us.
know the CJ?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One thing we upgraded to at the jail, we no longer have separate sheets and blankets. We upgraded to one solid unit. I was gonna bring one over with me, I forgot to do that. It's a blanket, it's like a bed mattress. It's a sleeve that goes over your mattress, and then on the side of it is sewn on a blanket. So it literally slides on, they have comfort to lay on, and the blanket goes over, and I guess the inmates have really liked them. They're more comfortable and they're warmer than the other ones that we had. And now for accountability wise, it's better for our staff of, you look in and that's what they have, it's on their bed, rather than, okay, there's a sheet, is there an extra sheet down here, is there a blanket, is there an extra blanket here? So that, we're pretty excited about that product also. Yeah. I have two more things. As far as MedPass, it's something we've talked about at several prison board meetings over the last 2 years. Title 37 is going to be changing. They're predicting by, I believe, the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, the corrections officers cannot hand out medication. We're a smaller facility, so we still handle it that way. They do receive training on how to do it. However, we're trying to stay ahead of the curve on it and get it done. I did hear back from one of the companies, so let me back up again. Several of the companies that we've talked to didn't seem interested in coming to Warren, just because we're smaller, and I think it would cost them more than what they would make off of it. I did have one reach out to me. We had a meeting with them last week. She sent me the quote today. I will forward it to everybody for review. In my personal opinion, it's not anywhere close to acceptable, but that's up to the board. That's just my suggestion. I believe they were, for an LPN, it was $70 an hour, and for an RN, it was $90 an hour.
That's the only quote we've received so far?
That's it so far.
Is there any way that we can possibly contract somebody local for cheaper? Or would we
Possibly,
into a part-time?
So what we were thinking, so there's several obstacles in it. If the county hires, it's county's liability. It was a separate
Liability, liability.
Yes. One of the companies at the last conference we went to, they weren't interested in just providing nurses to help with this. They wanted to take over the entire medical department.
You can use CNAs too, or can you not?
I'd have to check into that if they're
Well,
med
CNAs
certified.
can handle that.
Roush uses CNAs for
I don't think they're able to involve sort of medication, like painkillers and
That was,
stuff like that.
speaking of the routes, that was one thing that we were supposed to have a meeting with them, and I don't think she ever reached back out to us, did she, Lisa?
I haven't heard from her, but maybe the commissioners could talk to her at their next board meeting to
Yeah.
see if their, because their home health program was, lacking a little bit. I mean, we have to pay them, but they could maybe designate home health care staff to help with this in this area, and I believe that those are primarily RNs, but I don't know all the details.
How many times a day would you be using someone?
4 times.
4 times.
But we've talked about, some of the DOC, the SEIs, the state correctional institutions have changed to 3 times a day. And, you know, they make just breakfast, lunch, and dinner time. That's up to our provider, you know, if he would be in agreement to it.
You're going to say something, Nathaniel?
Oh, I remember looking into this, and the prison code in the regs was specifying who was allowed to administer medication. And I'm looking up that reg right now, just to see if my memory's correct. I don't have, 2 more minutes, but, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just updating everybody on that is something we've continued to work on. Lisa's worked with me on that, with trying to think of something locally to do. Our current provider, he doesn't want to hire nurses himself, he'd rather the county take that, because, you know, you're not talking just 3 nurses, you know, several, one calls off. It's hard to tell. We've been talking about maybe more general, if we work out a contract with them of having a nurse come over just for med passes, and that's kind of what we're thinking with the Rouse. If anybody's got ideas or suggestions, we're definitely open to it.
We did talk to Warden General, but they're so short-staffed themselves that they couldn't commit to anything like that.
Yeah.
Would the state hospital be a resource?
Or even Corey Hospital, I know it's a little farther, but they might be willing to set some type of a contract.
Who is that?
Corey Hospital, I know it's a little farther, but they might be willing to do some type of a contract. They're a little smaller, they're not.
Is Lonnie, is he willing to go 3 times a day?
It's something I'll chat with him about and ask him. I don't, Nathaniel might be able to handle it from a legal aspect side. I know the DOC, I mean, obviously they have several people look into it so they can do it, but I don't understand how you can give somebody a medication, it's a bedtime medication before dinner, you know? And they're kind of just told, tough, if you want the med, that's what you get. And I mean, I would look for, you know, other opinions on that myself, so, but.
That's a good point.
I'm in the code. Maybe it merits a little bit more looking into. So the healthcare professional is defined in the code, in the prison code, as a medical doctor, doctor of osteopathy, physician's assistant, registered nurse, or licensed practical nurse. Okay. So, however, when I get into the specific section, it's 95.232 on medical and health services, it just says that under subsection 9(2), medication procurement, receipt, dispensing, distribution, storage, and disposal be supervised by properly licensed personnel in accordance with the Controlled Substance, Drug, Device, and Cosmetic Act. So it may not require, as the rule's written now, it may not require an RN or an LPN to do it.
Right now it doesn't, corrections officers can do it right now.
Right. So
But that's what we're saying, it's going to be changing, that's coming from the Title 37 committee. They're working on changing several things, and that's one of the main things that they're working on changing by 2026. But
We have a little bit of time.
yeah, but it was supposed to have changed by 2024, and it keeps getting pushed back, so at least that's the unwritten
Can you
update.
get kicked down the road even further?
Yeah. That's the latest that I've heard. I've spoken to other counties, like Erie, you can't really compare to them, they're so much bigger, you know, they have a 24/7 medical department. Elk County hired their own nursing staff. So, and there's, because I even thought, I wonder if there's a nursing staff that would be like a tri-county thing, you know, but.
Well, Elk County nursing staff, are they coming out of, is there a hospital in St. Mary's?
There is a hospital in St. Mary's, but I believe they're hired as county, like through the county.
So
they're actually
because their jail is in Ridgeway, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about even some of the nursing facilities, like you said, hey, we'll give you this much money if you'll send a nurse over 3 times a day to do meds. You know, maybe some of the, you know, maybe they need a little bit of funding, though, and employee to be there, but say, hey, run over and.
They're gonna have insurance issues.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
it, and I know a lot of those places are utilizing traveling nurses now, because they can't find the help around here.
And that rate is.
That is way
Traveling
higher
nurses
than
is way higher,
$7,
yeah, I
so.
do know that.
So I wanted to update everybody on that, it's something we're continuing to work on, and when, the last conference we went to, that was our main goal, was to talk to medical providers. They're expensive. So, lastly, I have the jail and sheriff's office, we're looking at new body cameras. The ones we have, we are less than impressed with. We have received quotes, we're seeking out grants also for this, and we do have grants that would cover the cost, however, it's going to take us a while to get those grants. Sheriff was working on one that we wouldn't have an answer to until the end of the year. A thought that we've had, and we've looked into it, and we can do this, the inmate commissary fund. We can use that fund towards the benefit of the inmates.
So you use that for match? Would you get the grant?
Well, we would do that, I don't think we could replace once we get the grant,
Replace.
the funds, if we take out of the inmate commissary to cover.
No.
No.
So,
So,
but what you could do is if you get the grant, then put that into an account for replacement.
right,
I looked at, you said there's 16 cameras,
total between the 2 offices, yeah, plus,
and the way they wrote is it would be a payment every year for 5 years, which is what we did when we did the Vocus cam and also the tasers. We went on a 5-year program, we paid so much per year. The thing with the tasers is they would replace them every so often.
right,
When we bought computers back, how long was that when the version we had, when we had to replace all the computers? Yeah. We used inmate commissary money because the nexus was that we used those computers to make appointments for the inmates, plus they used those computers to tie into the commissary network and so on and so forth. And the sheriff's office, because they were transporting the inmate to appointments. And I propose to take a look at that. I think the first payment is $29,000 the first year, and then it goes to 26, 26, 26, 26. And that will, and they're very necessary for both. The sheriff also transports inmates, not only the medical appointments, but to other facilities, other courts, and
yeah, it's definitely a benefit to the inmate. Any allegations they might have on staff, or if there's an incident between inmates, everything's audio and video recorded.
their medical treatment, the whole 9 yards.
So another thing, Lisa and I just met on Friday, and we were reviewing accounts that could have investment potential. And prison commissary account was one of the ones we were talking about. So if we moved it into some of your money into an investment account, you would earn interest. It would help cover the cost of your body cameras. Just an idea.
That, the only thing that fund just cannot be used for anything other than inmate.
It would have a separate, we were just I actually was working with Clay the other day, we have to set up separate accounts for each fund, because there's no way to separate the interest, say we put it all under one account, there's no way to separate who gets what amount of interest, because the interest rate changes daily. And so say you invested 100,000, but then some other account invests $1 million, there's no way to determine who's getting what, because it changes daily. So the accountant that I spoke to on Friday said they recommended that we do separate accounts for each one. So if we set up prison commissary to have a separate investment account, you would 100% know what your interest earnings are, and you guys would get that, so that might help cover some of the interest accounts that we have. Some of them are anywhere from like 8 to 16,000 roughly.
Yeah, this particular account, you have about $98,000. If we invested it, right now it's at 5.4%, I think, and so you're looking at $420 a month in interest earnings.
It's just an idea to help some costs. I don't know how quickly you're looking for it, but it might.
Well, and I spoke to Tom Moyer of Motorola Solutions. He is the one that actually got this quote together for me. And this is including, since we do transport, and I'm looking at everything from a liability standpoint of the county, is we're transporting inmates back and forth from doctor's appointments, like the commissioner said. It's very important to have a camera system and body camera systems that are working and 100% reliable. The Wolfcom systems that we have are outdated. They are failing eventually. It gets down to the point that, you know, we're trying to utilize these body cameras and they're not recording, they're shutting off, they're turning on, they're turning off. And from a liability standpoint, it's a very huge risk on our part, because then you're going to court instead of playing the video that actually happened. It's a he said, she said stuff, and we're leaving it up to people to make their own determination. So
I don't think you need to convince us that we need,
okay.
but my only question was whether or not we have to kick in some match money for you to get that break. Sometimes
It's not-
or is it 100% grant with no match obligation?
The grants and stuff that I have wrote for this, there is a small rural and tribal grant that I wrote. This grant is for a total of $20,000. We are only allotted so much money per camera and so many cameras per our office. This grant specifically excluded the jail, so it would be just the sheriff's office that I wrote for this. So I put in the max, which is $20,000 for that. Now that comes with the match fund of 21 and some change coming from the county. Whenever the commissioner Claycamp stated that the payment arrangement would be over a 5-year period for this cameras, which is a total of $135,318. The first year would be $29,910. That would be a fee that we would have to pay after everything is implemented, the training is done, all the camera systems are put in, and the charging systems and everything. And then every year thereafter, it would be $26,352, those payment installments. So that $29,000, if we are allotted this grant, that $29,000 would be our match to it. And like the commissioner said, we would set it in a separate account as $20,000 for year 2's payment, and we'll just continue it like that. So I will try to write grants and try to get as much of this down as possible so we can alleviate as much as we can from that account. But I think this account is obviously for them a necessity for us to have this kind of equipment, especially updated.
And in the past, you bought a vehicle, and I believe the prison transport van years ago was paid for by that, out of that inmate account.
Yep.
How long do the cameras last? Like you're saying, how many years you're paying on this?
I said, it'd be 5 years, I spoke, and that was one of my questions, is the Wolfcom system was bought back 2016,
I just pulled up the invoice, it was bought in 2020.
2020 is the Wolfcom system.
I just wondered, because you know how like you get a car and they last 5 years anymore, and then.
We asked
Starting
him,
again.
we asked him about that, because it is a 5-year.
And that was one of my things is, these are, I guess, the state of art, and they said that there won't be any updates for this. This is kind of like has hit its threshold of this is the camera. As long
So they
as
say-
you are
so
doing,
Yeah.
so they say, as long as you're doing updates and continuing that stuff,
Yeah,
which
technical
is all
updates.
included. All the tech stuff is all
So
included for the
there's
next
no-
5 years.
So the yearly payments include like a service contract?
Yeah,
That's,
sorry,
that was my support.
Yeah, technical support, yeah.
Because usually there's a 1-year warranty on parts, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's technical support, and if you have any issues with batteries or whatnot, because
4,000?
they'll all tell you the batteries last 12 hours, but in all reality, it's not gonna last 12 hours.
So you're gonna be buying new ones after 5 years?
You're gonna have to really look at what the annual.
I hope
before
not.
you
So
say
that
4,000.
is-
What is it, what is their sale pitch, or should I say?
You can-
We have
At the end of 5 years, you can
$3
update
million,
or
only
make-
13,000.
How do you say?
There's an iCloud storage fee, which I haven't spoken with Bill Gallagher yet about getting our own individual servers, so it just kind of alleviates that. But it does, for 5 years, it comes with the cloud storage, unlimited storage for the cameras, and the essential service and accidental damage replacement is included, and software enhancements, which would be the updating in the system, and the video manager, iCloud annual storage.
So
For each
that
camera.
includes the cloud.
Yes. Yep, that includes the cars, the body cameras, the cloud, and 2 charging stations, one for the jail, one for us.
Some of the batteries only last about 5 years, and they just won't hold charge.
What are you paying over 5 years?
135,000,
But we would have to,
380.
that first initial would have to come from the inmate commissary.
Yeah.
He said it's about 120-day turnaround, I believe he said.
Yeah, it's a
Well, from order to inserts and working.
Yeah,
The county, for the commissary, the county gets a percentage from the vendor. I think at one time it was 40-some%, 30 or 40%, it's something ridiculous.
no.
But that's what the county gets from the commissary vendor,
Yeah,
which builds up fast.
Yeah, and that's what I guess my question to the warden was, are we gonna be able, we're a little short on that money now, is that money in 5 years gonna be there? And he assures me the monthly charges that he has got for the last couple months, we'll be able to clear that, no problem.
Yeah, and then that information is in your packet, the actual number of what the last couple of months have received. But, the inmate commissary pays for things for them, games, newspapers, TV, privilege stuff.
So,
I wanted to bring that up, I know that's a lot of information on the body cameras, he has all the info there, if anybody wants to see that.
So you guys contacted for other quotes too?
Yeah, we spoke with Axon, when we first received body cameras, Axon is the same as Taser, and their quote was substantially higher than that one.
Have you checked with anybody that has that, those
Almost
cameras
every-
and lights
all
up?
the local police departments are carrying these now.
And they like them, they're happy with them?
Yep, very, very happy with them.
That's important.
That's why we just, at Conwell going in Youngsville, went from the old system now to these.
Okay.
I do believe, just to go on record and saying this, because it's over the 25,000 whatever threshold, you will have to take it out to actual bid.
I don't have to say that, thanks.
Specialized equipment.
Yeah, not aware of exception to the bidding
I thought there
requirement.
was an exception for specialized equipment.
There is.
But there are probably several companies that make these body cameras,
Yeah.
some better than others.
I would think at the very least you should get another quote. You should have a minimum of 3.
3 quotes is what we need.
The rules are over 25,000, it's a competitive bidding
Okay,
process.
so 3.
For the small
No,
cameras,
you have to put it out to bid and then let people respond. 3 is under 25,000.
Okay.
We would usually figure about 30 days max for response. I mean, these guys are gonna put these figures together pretty quick.
Absolutely.
So maybe not even need 30 days, 20 might do it.
The cross-state for
Something you wanna put out?
PCCD, that
Put
was
it
not
to
the
issue
grant
the
or the
RFP
sheriff's.
for
It
response to that.
was done, wasn't
So-
it? I mean, that's what I thought the last meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we didn't fall under that law, it was law enforcement only, and sheriffs, jails, prisons,
That's what I thought.
school
wasn't it?
resource
I remember
officers, and
it,
everything
but,
were
yeah,
exempt
so
from
it's
that.
maybe someone
Yeah.
here.
Do you know, is Motorola Solutions part of CoStar's or Keystone purchasing that?
I was gonna ask you if
Because if that's the case,
we're
we
good.
don't have to go out to bidding because the state already did.
Yeah, because that's what we did with
Yeah,
our vehicle.
I
I will speak to Tom
Yeah.
about that.
Forgot about that.
Let me ask this, when the county bought the P25 radios, those came through the state. Did they have to bid those? I don't remember them bidding those.
I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
Well, like Pam was saying, though, if you go through the CoStar's, they've already done the bidding for you.
Yep.
Yeah,
So you're free to use them without having to go through.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Tom.
Okay.
have
I
his
would
personal
imagine
cell
they
phone.
are.
Yeah.
I don't know what PSP uses.
It will show their number or whatever on their bid, I think, their CoStar's number.
And what I understand too, you can use that as a starting point to negotiate an even better price.
Okay.
as the time frame, Commissioner Claus, yeah, I mean, 20 might not be unreasonable. I mean, I'm sure these are commercial vendors, they can turn around quotes pretty quickly. I don't know if there's something you want to consider having the vendor come in and do a demonstration, and/or a presentation for an investment this size. I have questions about how much data is going to be retained, how quickly we can access data, how quickly we can put litigation hold time, whether, just functional issues about it. I just think everyone agrees it's important, so if there's an opportunity for Q&A, I don't think that's
Yeah.
unreasonable.
Oftentimes, what we would do for the planning department is come up with a short list of proposals and interview those.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of the questions you may have, the thing with those questions, Sheriff or I might already be able to answer them, because we've done that with them, we've done it with Axon already, and we know what we're looking for from having Axon. And Wolfcom, we know pros and cons of a lot. If you want a demo from them, I'm sure this gentleman would have no problem coming in and showing you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a team effort. I'll be glad to review whatever documents they present, and then just an opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah, this is definitely something I don't want to table, something I would like to move on.
And here's, there's everything on the back, I'm sure, if you want to take that and look at everything. It is, what I was told is everything is unlimited, it is cloud-based, it is an immediate access, depending on how I set up or how we set up everything. I can literally watch them at a traffic stop or watch them as they're being transported.
One benefit with these ones also is the uploading process. The ones we have now, staff has to take them off, put them on a docking station, and process through it to get it to upload. And then we have to go on the website to get it. These we can have set up, they can either set it on the docking station
So you have
or if
real
they're,
time even?
Real time.
or if they're even in the area of your docking station, it'll
Soon
they'll
as,
sync to it.
what I was told, as soon as the cars pull into the parking lot, if I
Yeah.
don't set up that immediate site, as soon as the cars pull into the parking lot, automatically uploads.
One of the questions that you ends up coming up whenever these things happen, these incidents we have to review, because of the massive amount of camera time that's generated, how much memory is on the cloud, so how far back we can look. Have they given you any verbals about how?
Set unlimited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unlimited.
it's set unlimited. And it's unlimited, if you go 2 pages in there, it says unlimited cloud storage.
So we would have a right, for example, to say we don't want to.
After 60 days, we can cut it off.
It's maybe 2 years, 6 months to 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can set that up.
Yeah.
Well, that's with any of them, you can set it up, how long.
Okay, well, I'll hold any more questions, I'll take a look at this.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, Tom, his cell phone's on there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to him.
I'll wait, I'll work with you guys before I make phone calls.
Check to see if they're CoStar's.
Yes, that, I will call him.
Or Keystone Purchasing Network.
You say Conomoto uses them and, Youngstown?
And state,
One
did
city.
you say city?
Yes.
And everybody's satisfied?
Everybody is now going to these, Motorola solutions, the watch guard system. It's top of the line, the best you can get out there.
Well, it says a lot.
Where did you apply to
Where did I apply to?
for the grant?
For the
funding?
grant, the Small and Rural Tribal Body Worn Camera Program. It's an SRT program.
You're also writing, one for,
Because I just found something else while I was looking.
I was gonna say whether they're, you know, exhaust any other grant opportunities, or do you think there's any other funding we have that might be eligible?
I mean, it's all very competitive, but we can try.
Yeah. Or anything we've received?
Yeah, there's multiple grants out there, but some are very competitive. We fit in there because it falls under the rural, so not the Erie, Allegheny counties and stuff can apply to that. It's for small agencies for 50 officers or less.
Where do you
Still
go?
really competitive.
Oh, it's very
Yeah.
good, absolutely.
So,
So-
Yeah,
if we
and I
can provide
think-
multiples, that would be.
I was gonna say, I think it's who we were
Yes.
talking to.
And that's why I'm sending two deputies to the grant writing class to assist and help with this sort of stuff.
That's all I have on my list.
I can try to write as many grants as I can, but there's only so much time in a day, so.
Do you have Kim helping you?
Cool.
Kim, Slocum?
I sent her messages and I sent her stuff about grant writing and everything for the training I have coming up as well. So, for just specific law enforcement training.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have that, Kim should coordinate with your deputies, she's pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the more hands we got for it, the better off we are.
We have a motion to accept the warden's report.
So,
Motion second. Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Capital items. Do we have any capital items?
I filled out the form the other day to replace a Spartan device. I don't know if that's one of their capital items or not, Lisa. Okay.
Yeah.
Spartan device is the Guardian, RFID is what it's called. It's our timekeeping system that the corrections officers use for counts, checks, handing out equipment, laundry exchange, medication pass. All that.
inventory.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic thing. It's no bigger than a cell phone. It keeps track of everything. One of them's outdated and needs replaced. I have it on the capital list for the year. And this one, it quit working on us, so I needed replaced.
Announcements. Our next meeting date is April 23rd. Anything for the good of the order?
I think there's, an executive session, or reference.
So I have a motion to adjourn the prison board meeting and then move into executive session.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Executive session.